Hello my dear beautiful bastards and welcome back to some more Fallout 4. We are building the communist alley. I didn't really know what to do there because I'm not really sure, are you guys aware of what communism really is? So I suppose we could use this first starting few minutes as a learning experience for you guys. Communism never existed. There was never a country that actually managed to practice communism because, or at least the original version of communism, Marxism, and that type of communism where everyone is equal, because nobody is ever equal, because that's not in the nature of humans. So it's kind of impossible to build a proper communistic settlement because it would be boring. You know, everyone would have the same rights, the same everything, and it just wouldn't work all that well. So I decided to build a more socialistic, communistic settlement, you know, with a kind of like a feudal system. You could say it's a feudal system where you have the low tier, the mid tier, and the high tier. Now I'm currently here building the high tier, the house of the leader, of the most glorious man within the settlement. The red platform is where others will be, the mid tier, and all the way down on the ground is where the low tier will be. Now I am using Snappy Builds mod that actually allows me to select quite a few items from the world. I wasn't able to scrap all in this settlement because as soon as I used scrap all, it deleted everything. It actually deleted, you know, half of the real world as well that was within settlement boundaries. So I had to use the manual method of deleting everything, and the Snappy Builds has a lot of these very, very realistic items that are realistic because they are a part of the real world. So it was very, very easy to build something that kind of fit into the entire world of Fallout 4. And there's a balcony. I used balconies. I never use balconies. And also a golden balcony because that's what fits. That is what the leader should have, a beautiful golden balcony to look over everyone. Now I did add a lot of communisty items, communisty posters and shit. You will see that later. I had to download some extra mods to enable that, and as you can see here, I deleted these additional items that were going through the stuff that I built. Now you can't delete this normally, but if you use Snappy Builds, you should be able to delete that. And this part was kind of floating, so I decided to use a pillar, and I managed to add these metal pillars on the sides that are kind of supporting this area, making it look like a boxed-in place. And look at this. You also have these awnings that are actually the same as the awning that is right in front. I also changed the floor in this section. This is where the mid-tier people sleep. I added a reddish building, and I wanted to extend the building all the way through, but I don't know, I didn't like it. And then I added this skylight ceiling, which kind of looked pretty cool. It's also kind of like when they go to sleep, they know when to wake up because the sun is gonna shine into their faces. You know, they can never be in total darkness. So I kind of feel like that is fitting for the mid tier. They constantly have to prove themselves because like I said, it is not possible to have proper communism. So instead of communism, we are doing kind of like a socialism kind of thing. You could say it's like a dictatorship, socialistic dictatorship, something like that, because that's usually what all communistic countries are. They are not communistic, they are socialist dictatorships. Right? Do we understand each other? And then I went on the other side, deleted all of this crap that wasn't fitting. See, I can also select these things, and then I replaced it with the same thing because I can, whatever I can select, I can build within the Snappy Builds. And there were a couple of these windows that were kind of, you know, they were kind of messed up by the red floor that I added. So I replaced it so it doesn't seem like it's messed up, which was very cool. It allowed me to completely cover up the nasty areas. And in this corner as well, because I do have the brick wall that is fitting for this place, so I added that as well. I kind of wanted to make sure... Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Snapping didn't work properly. I kind of wanted to make sure that it all fits together, that it makes sense that this brick foundation has been placed. Because as soon as I placed the brick foundation, a lot of things were getting kind of cut off. But in the end, I managed to replace all of the items that were cut off with regular walls. And then I added the mid-tier metallic building here on the opposite side, where the mid-tier people would simply just spend their time. You know, they can eat, they can... do things, and I made it 2 levels high, or 2 stories, or ground level and first floor, however you want to call it. And I added wooden stairs because there is a metallic stairs item, but I couldn't make it fit. It was too large, so I used the regular wooden stairs. There are multiple stairs in all sorts of mods that I have, but I didn't bother checking, so I used the wooden, because I have the wooden floor on the first floor or on the second floor. You know, because I think in England the ground floor is considered the first floor, right? Is it? Or is it not? I'm not really sure. I know that I read something about it, and I know that people in different parts of the world call first and second floors differently. Now for the roof, I used these big ones, and I had to kinda overlay the left side on the right side because I couldn't find a part that fit. And then I added the beautiful chain link fence right here because I really like the chain link fence. I kinda add it whenever I can because it looks, I don't know, it looks beautiful. I like it. I like it very much. And after that was done, I started placing the items. The first one, of course, in the low tier, where they can, this little original corner where it's covered and everything, they can sleep there. Now in this corner, they can sit down and relax or contemplate their lives. Why are they here? It is kind of like a boot camp. Did I mention that? I don't think I mentioned anything about that. So basically these guys in the low tier, they have to suffer through life and suffer through terrible conditions until they can prove themselves worthy of their leader. That is my idea of what I wanted to do there. Like I said, it's not communism, it's socialist dictatorship. Most people think that is communism, but it's just not true. Communism is actually the best thing possible for all humans, but it is never gonna come true because humans just can't do that. You can't. As soon as someone has all the power, they're gonna use all that power to help themselves and their friends. They won't give a shit about others. That's just how things work. So communism is just not viable. It can never exist. But socialist dictatorship is what people think communism is, so this is it. So basically they have this little farm here, they eat from the farm, they collect items that get thrown from the mid-tier, because the mid-tier tends to, throw shit across the fence for them to deal with. Items that are not useful to anyone, they just throw it over the fence, and then the guys in the lower tier can do stuff with that, build benches or toilets or whatever. Now they pissing and shitting, nobody has any toilets or anything. I didn't really think about toilets, which is a little bit awkward, not having any toilets. But we can pretend like this socialist dictatorship is for people who don't need to take shits or piss. That doesn't make any sense. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I think it is quite respectable that there are no toilets here, because they are going against human nature. And every human has to piss and shit. So maybe this has existed for like thousands of years. Aha. It has existed for thousands of years, and people who are living in this community are immune to pissing and shitting. They just consume everything within their bodies, and they don't have any waste. Yes. Yes, no waste. Nothing goes to waste. This is the ultimate community of non-wasters. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. I like it. And this corner up here, this is where they can, you know, play checkers and socialize and do stuff. And Nuka-Cola is a sponsor of this particular settlement or community. They're their sponsors. Now, obviously, Nuka-Cola is secretly communist. I don't know if you guys knew that, but Nuka-Cola is actually quite communist. They're leaders and, well, owners, or not really founders, because the founders didn't really have any communistic preferences, but the current owners are quite interested in communism, so they are sponsoring this particular place, and there's a lot of Nuka-Cola related stuff. Well, not a lot, just added a couple of items, and this is an excuse for me to add them. And this corner up here, where I was placing stuff, is for a little bit of safety. I added the rugs as well, because that one corner is kinda out in the open. I could have added the brick foundations all over the place, you know, to block that area completely, but I decided against it. And then I started adding the flags. They are quite clean. I kinda don't like that they are completely clean. I would prefer if they were a little bit worn out. But I guess it makes sense that they appreciate the flags, so they clean the flags often. And obviously the leader has paintings of Stalin, because we say Stalin with the L. And I know that in the English wording it's Stalin. But yeah, I added a lot of these little posters related to communism. And then I also added those little, they're not really, they're like little worn out advertising posters. I added that as well. But obviously this place needed the classic rugs, the beautiful rugs that fit the theme of the old communistic Russia, that once again wasn't really communistic. It was a socialist state, militaristic socialist state. And in this corner is where the office is, I suppose, of the leader. I added a couple of different items, and obviously the chair needed to be red and it needed to be nice. And as for the items on the desk, just a bit of ammo, and obviously a chem box, a bloody chem box, because has to take drugs often. Can't lead a community without drugs. There's a sniper in the corner as well. When someone in the low tier messes up, they go out on the balcony and kill the one who messed up. There is a globe, because whenever he feels like it, the leader spins the globe and selects a place from the world where he dreams about invading that place and you know, creating a community of his own there. Because, you know, that's how things work here. Once he was a nice man, he gave everyone everything all the time, but power corrupted him, and now he lives in his fancy home, and he also has these shelves filled with a lot of food and booze, because it is necessary, you know, he has to have, and everyone brings it to him here. You know, he doesn't really have to do anything. He just goes down the stairs and he picks up stuff to drink and eat, and he doesn't really give a shit. While the others in the mid-tier, they have to sleep together, but at least they are in a relatively decent situation. You know, they can drink, they can eat normally, they don't really have to worry about too much. So after that, in this corner on the opposite side, this place is a little bit, this corner is like a I'm not really sure what to call it. I'm not really it's kind of like, I think you can notice, you can already notice what it kind of means. Also rugs, you gotta have the classic the classic rugs. Without them nothing makes sense. Now in this corner, art, beautiful art, because they have to show appreciation to their leader, they have to make art. And now for the final tour of the final completed settlement, I also sped up the time a little bit, so you know the cycle is gonna go through several times. You can see a nice communistic logo. This is where there's a lot of different items that they can take, use, or you know, do things with. They can go up the stairs to the upper floor, where they can find a lot of beautiful things to spend their time with. Very red flag that gets cleaned very often. That is a must. You gotta clean it. If you don't clean it, you're a little baby. And then once you go through, you can see the security zone, something like that. A lot of ammo, tools and stuff, boxes with ammo, and a little hole where people can come through, but unfortunately they can't go too far because it is quite high up, so it is not possible to break in through there, at least. On the other side, you can ignore the spark. I had some issues with the lights and everything. But here is where they practice their art. They have to make paintings for the leader, because if the leader is not satisfied, they get kicked out from the mid-tier back to the low tier, so that they constantly have to prove themselves to the leader. They constantly have to be useful. And you probably noticed that the floor is clean here. Wherever the leader goes through, the floor has to be clean all times. And here in the low tier, not a lot of light, because they don't deserve light, they have to earn the right to light. And on the other side, a lot of food that they eat themselves. You know, they have to get their own food and everything. They sleep in the corner. The light is kinda bugged, I think, because that light over there is the same light that was in the original settlement, but when I deleted the barrel, the light stayed, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. But either way, very simple. There's no items here. I wanted to make it seem like it's barren, like it's completely dead and nobody wants to be here. That's what I wanted to achieve. And see how there's no stairs or anything. Basically, once they get recruited, they get thrown down there and the gate gets locked. And then when the leader feels like someone has earned their place in the mid-tier, they get called upon the mid-tier. And see, everything is clean. The floor is completely clean because the leader often walks through here, and it needs to be clean. You know, he doesn't want to walk all over the dirt. See how they have the left side goes into their sleeping quarters, and there is a little space on the right where the leader goes through, because he doesn't enter the mid-tier area. Just why would he? It's rude to expect him to do that, because he is the all-powerful leader. And now I experienced some explosions here. She's a little bit unfortunate, but it happens in Hangman's Alley, or the Communist Alley. Once we go all the way up, you have already seen most of this. It is a very nice place where the leader spends most of his time. There's a lot of vodka, as you can see. I made sure to add vodkas everywhere. And his beautiful desk. Also, vodka on the table. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I feel like it makes sense. I think this is what you guys wanted, because I did get a lot of comments that I should make a communist settlement, so I think that this is reasonably communistic, considering that it's not. But it has signs of it. And then we go out to the balcony, a nice view of everything. This is where he monitors the low tier most of the time. He doesn't really monitor the mid tier too much, just the low tier. But over here, once he is ready, once every week, he goes through this little section, he sits down, and people who are in the mid tier, they have to simply take items that are available to them, and they have to prove to the leader and make something that he likes. So it's basically like a test. He sits down and he asks all of them to do something one by one. And if he is extremely satisfied, he gives them a kiss. If he's not satisfied, there's always a chance that he is going to kick them down to the low tier. And that is it. That is the settlement. I hope you guys liked it. It took me about 3 hours to build it, plus probably around 2 hours of thinking what to do. And I think it is pretty cool. I think it achieves what I wanted to achieve, and it achieves what I think that you guys wanted me to achieve. And yes, that's all. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to let me know what would you like me to build next, and I will see you next time. I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petard eternally touch your butt.